Here's the latest custom select. This one's a SWB, short wheelbase bike, and it's built up with 27.5 by 3-inch tires. It could also be built up with 29 by 2.4 to 2.6. The customer that ordered this wanted to get a bike that had very similar parts to the stock complete bike, one of our complete bikes, but he wanted to have a truss fork and he wanted an eccentric bottom bracket on his frame. So we went with the custom select build, and he chose a few different parts. He picked a silver aluminum bar instead of the black one that normally comes on the bikes. He went with a silver headset, Avid mechanical brakes, SRAM NX 12-speed, Thomson dropper post, Jones sealed bearing headset. And this is the fully heat-treated chromoly frame with the eccentric bottom bracket. You can see right here, take a look. This piece can rotate and change the bottom bracket position because it will rotate higher and then lower, and you loosen these bolts down here. They work like a big stem clamp or C-post clamp, and it holds this in place. This piece doesn't have any moving parts, and also it can take up the chain slack when you're making a single speed out of it. Short wheelbase, a little bit easier to lift the front end, a little easier to get the back end up. The back end's a little bit more under you than on the LWB, which would have the rear axle back there and would have the front axle right around here. Dropper. And the truss fork, the titanium truss fork is a very stiff fork, but it does absorb bumps a little better than the Unicrown fork in some ways, but front to rear stiffness is very good. It doesn't twang, it doesn't vibrate as much. Under hard braking, it doesn't tuck back. So really solid. And the lateral strength is very good on the wheel and the fork. So you can see it's like really strong. On the SWB, you have the same position as on the LWB. So I'm on the medium SWB right now, and if I were on the LWB, it would have almost the same fit. The handlebars are just slightly higher on the LWB to begin with, but you can still raise these up higher because you have a lot of spacers. Right now I have the stem in this low position with only a couple of spacers, and this is about right for most people. You can see the seat and the handlebars are about the same height. You want to make sure with the H-bar that if you want to be comfortable, that where you are seated is not a lot higher than where you were holding on for the handlebar. So these are in the same position. Now, when he gets this bike, he could slide this up higher and make it more upright and more comfortable, and it would work well. But on steep technical single track, then it would be wheelie a little more easily. So this is kind of the position you'd want it for high performance riding, is kind of even height like this. With the bars tilted down a little bit so that as I lean into them, I'm not sliding forward, I'm not sliding backwards, but I'm just square pushing into them. So I don't even have to squeeze on the bars and my hands stay in this position. So I got to test ride it and break it in a little bit, and then we will pack it up and send it out to him. Look at that tire clearance. And there's a lot of room. Got the super wide front hub for extra strength. Lots and lots of clearance. On the custom builds, or even on the modified complete bikes, we can add some wrap up here. So this way, now you can kind of rest out like that and get your fingers there, like this, here. But then you can still mount a light or GPS or whatever you want there. Dropper on the left, shifters on the right. Most of what I'm doing is trying to break everything in, so if anything's going to move or come loose, it'll happen now. Also, I'm breaking the brakes in. The brake pad material will move over to the rotor and the brakes will improve. And we'll adjust the brakes after I do this riding because they squeeze in just a little bit. Short wheelbase. Easier to get up on the back or the front wheel. Try that again. There it is, custom select bike, SWB, Jones bike. What's it for? For riding.